Hi guys, today we are going to talking about installing fog lights on 2015 Honda Cruise motorcycle, Valkyrie F60C. You need to pay attention to the embarrassing problems you may encounter and solutions. Before the show begins, I will briefly introduce the channel Ideal Audio Video. The Ideal Audio Video mainly produces classic Valkyrie stories, Australian customs, Chinese language learning, mechanical and electrical applications. After watching it, if you feel that you really got our help effectively, welcome to share it with your friends. Subscribe to like our channel. Press the small bell to keep an eye on the updates from the channel Ideal Audio Video. This video is all useful information. The following tasks will be completed.
Install 4 products and complete modification. Install fog lamps. Prepare the fog lights. Install a turn signal voltage conversion module. Install a fog lamp manual switch and install a power distribution module. First, install the fog lamp on the motorcycle according to the instructions of the fog lamp manufacturer. Remove the spinner at the lower front of the engine and collect all the removed screws and buckles into a closed box. During the installation process, there are some details to pay attention to, which will make the installation easier. When installing this bolt in this position, we cannot install it on the rear frame together with the fog lamp, because the upper right corner of the lamp blocks the bolt. In this case, I suggest it is best to remove the lamp from the front lamp frame first. On the left and the right sides of the lamp, each has a small screw. Remove them and take off the lights. That's it after disassembly. Then we first mount the front light height adjustment frame to the rear fixed frame. When installing, first put the light cable behind the adjustment frame and then install the frame. After the adjustment frame is installed, install the lamp back to the frame. Here is one more detail to pay attention to. If you follow the installation instruction video provided by the fog lamp manufacturer, after installing through the thick pad column, you will find that the relationship between the right fog lamp and the firing will have problems. That is, the whole lamp to the left. The left side of the U-shaped lamp will be blocked by the firing. Therefore, it is necessary to add some gaskets to the light bolt of the mounting frame at the rear of the light lamp. Note that this is the position of the screw hole. Taking the left lamp frame as an example, install several gaskets between the thick gasket given by the fog lamp manufacturer and fix the frame. The thickness of the gaskets are about 5 mm total. In order to make the lamp in the right direction, expose the entire face of the lamp from behind the firing. I'm not sure if this is my case. common phenomenon. I stored it strictly in accordance with the technical instructions provided by the fog lamp merchant. But I encountered this problem, and I solved it like this. You might as well pay attention to it. Is there a similar situation you have encountered? In addition, I found that there was one more gasket after installation, and I placed it in front of the adjustmenting bolt. In this way, when you adjust the light height bolts in the future, you can protect the screwed bolts from the wiring the lamp frame. After the fog lamps are installed, you need to connect the plug to the motorcycle. There is a plug behind the fog lamp, which should be directly plugged into the female plug reserved by the manufacturer on the motorcycle. But when I removed the fairing, it turns out that there are no female plugs for fog lamps reserved. This question caught me by surprise. I checked the circuit diagram released by Honda manufacturer. Follow the lines and search for all the wiring locations around the plug that should exist. The plug was not found. I sent a product consultation email to the merchant selling fog lamps. Their reply was that they only sell the product, do not know the specific technical details of the product. How to solve this specific situation?
Finally, learned that there is a European version of this motorcycle. In other words, this motorcycle sold in Europe has no wiring for fog lights and no plugs. In this case, our users will have to reroute the cables themselves and install related circuit appliances and the connection plugs. Here, I must say thanks to a French professional manufacturer. I can't forget the name of this technical service staff. It's Fred. He provided a warm service for me, even though I didn't buy my fog lights from his store. He sent me the circuit diagram of the fog lamp installation, which really helped me a lot.
Okay, get down to business. Let's take a look at the circuit diagram. We see that the circuit actually goes very simple. Each electrical appliance is surrounded by a relay. When the relay obtains a 12 volts voltage signal, it will turn on the positive circuit of the fog lamp. There's an extra LED position indicator bulb on the switch part. In actual application, this indicator light is always on and is pre-installed in the switch button. The button is installed under the fuel tank cam block. The connection method of driving lights and the turn signals is not shown in the figure, and we will go into details later. Let's take a look at the product itself. It has a total of 4 lines driven from the lamp. Black and red lines together is a line. Yellow and white together is another. The results measured by the meter are: red is anode of fog lamp. Black is cathode, the negative pole of fog lamps. Turn lights all follow this black line. The white one is anode of driving lights. The yellow is anode of a turn signal. Conceptually, we have learned its current path and the basic working principle. This makes things a lot easier. First, wear. Remove the two front and the rear pads. Note that the two screws on the front pad are longer than the back. Pack all the screws, preferably in a closed box, in order to lay lines for fog lamps. The 4 lines of red, black, yellow, and white each require 5 meters, of which the diameter of the white and yellow wires can be slightly thinner. Route the wiring harness from the front of the motorcycle along the left side of the fuel tank to the vicinity of the power distribution area, which is under the driver's seat. Note here that when passing through the front clutch line and the brake hydraulic pipe, the harness must be rammed between the motorcycle main frame and the clutch line brake hydraulic pipes. This avoids the situation where the left shock absorber shell rubs against the wire harness when turning left. Among them, the black, red, and white wires can use a single main line to drive the left and right lights in a more concise way. In addition, 2 yellow wires must be used to connect to the power distribution area from front to back. Mark the left and right marks at the beginning and the end of the yellow wires. Remove the ECU plug in the power distribution area to make room for the entire wiring harness. The outside of the wiring harness can be covered with an insulating sleeve and encapsulated with insulating tape. If a connection plug is used, pay attention to choosing a waterproof function. After the connection is completed, plug back the ECU plug. The cable wiring tool is a thin wire with a length of 40 to 50 centimeters, and the head is hooked. Use the wire in the inconvenient area. Grab the wire harness and bring it slowly.
One of the things you need to pay attention to is not to scratch the motorcycle paint, and the other is not to cause a short circuit. When this tool is not used, it can be placed at a distance from the bike.
Also note that because the motorcycle engine at work will be very hot, the harnesses connected at the front cannot be pulled on the engine. They must be coiled and fixed and kept a distance from the engine. Next, connect the wiring harness of the fog lamp to the power distribution module. The white line driving lamp positive pole is connected to the power delay output terminal, and the right fog lamp positive pole is also connected to another power delay output terminal, and the black fog lamp negative pole is connected to the ground, the negative pole of the power distribution module. By the way, these 2 thin wires are the positive and negative wiring of GPS. Well, now we will install turn signal transformers and power distribution modules in the power distribution area. Of course, if you do not plan to install other electrical appliances in the future, you can only install relay for the fog lights. The first is to install a turn signal transformer. This is to make the 5 volts voltage when the motorcycle's turn signal flashes. To make the fog lights turn signal function can work normally, 12 volts voltage. Find the ECU connection and carefully remove the seal. Please pay attention to confirm that your motorcycle has expired the warranty period. Otherwise, Honda manufacturers will not provide warranty for modified motorcycles. Be careful with the knife to open the insulation. I use a very sharp medical surgical hook knife. By the way, the quality of Honda products is really very conscious. The ECU insulating skin includes seals, insulating tape, insulating sleeves, and another layer of hard and thick insulating layer with rubber. Finally, you can see the innermost harness, super protected. Install the power distribution card in strict accordance with the instructions provided by the transformer manufacturer. Pay attention to the color of the 4 wiring harnesses and the input: black to dark green, red to light green and black, yellow to orange, green to sky blue. Seal the package with insulation tape after installation. There are 3 wires at the output. Note that a black wire is connected to the negative terminal of the power distribution module. The green and yellow wires of the 2 turn signals are correctly connected according to the marks on the 2 positive yellow lines of the turn signals on the left and right ends. When finishing the wiring harness, the transformer module and the related wiring harness are arranged and sealed. Now, you need to install a manual switch for the fog lamp. The switch provided by the manufacturer can no longer be installed in the original designated connection position. Because there is no reserved plug there, we also need to adjust the switch. First, cut off this plug. Observe that 2 brown and white wires are connected to the switch button. After measuring with a multimeter, we know the green wire is the ground of the negative LED in the button. Brown and white wires are positive power supply. The black and white line is the 12 volts channel start signal after switching. Select the wire according to the connect color and weld the connecting wire harness to the switch. Green to green, brown and white to brown, black and white to black. Seal the inside and outside. Reserve the switch button after installation. The 3 wires at the other end of the switch connection line are connected to the power distribution area. The brown wires is connected to the startup power line of the power distribution module. The black wire is connected to the relay or power distribution module. In my case, the black wire was connected to the relay signal input of the power distribution module to activate its relay function, and the green wire was connected to the negative ground of the power distribution module. Now, install the power distribution module. I'm going to install it in a toolbox in the power distribution area. I choose a Velcro with glue. One set of the hard hooks being glued to the side wall of the front facade of the toolbox. One set of the soft hooks is glued to the back of the power distribution module. The tricky thing here is to connect the 12 volts signal line of the startup module. I connected it to the auxiliary power fuse. Install the USB extension cable and Bluetooth communication terminal. Throw out the USB charging cable, wind the extension cable, and fix it with rubber strips. The temperature sensing terminal wire is also wrapped around the rubber strip and fixed. The positive and negative electrode is installed on the battery. Tidy up the harness and tie it with straps. Stick the power distribution module on the front of the toolbox and put the USB extension cable, Bluetooth communication terminal, and the temperature sensing terminal wire in the small compartment next door. The power distribution module is installed and ready for operation. Yes, it's that simple. Next, adjust the light height of the fog lamp. The fog lamp is required to be 5 meters away from the wall curtain. The height of the top edge is 50 centimeters from the ground. Adjust the head adjustment screw located at the bottom of the fog lamp to get what you want. It's best if someone can help you read the back street. By doing this, you will be very easy to adjust. All the work is done. And finally, you need to install the lower fairing bag on the motorcycle. There is still work to do here. First, remove the 2 small plastic plates from the reserved holes on the fairing. The method of removing the small baffle is different. My method is very simple. That is, I use a hand saw. When sawing them down, pay attention to as much as possible. I compare the size relationship between the lamp and the frame. The outer edge of the lamp shade fits exactly with the outermost edge of the reserved hole on the fairing. When cutting, pay attention to along the outer edge of the hole in the fairing. Let's take a look at it. That's it. When installing the fairing, pay attention to the front-back relationship of the 2 longest screws and the 3-layer plastic material. from the inside to the outside. They are the lower fairing, the water tank fan shield, and the upper fairing. Yes, first snap the lower fairing behind the fan guard, and then cover the slightly softer fairing on the front and screw on. After installation, you will see your newly installed big bright eyes. This is the last step you need to know. It's beautiful. Test it right now.
As you can see, there's indeed a great visual difference in the long distance effect of turning on and off the driving lights. After installation, the goal of increasing the visual goal was achieved. Next step, I will install 3 Italian-made GV trunks on the rear of this 2015 Honda Valkyrie F60C motorcycle and try to install LED straps in the red shades of the trunks to increase the visual impact of the rear to keep driving safe. And you won't miss my new show when you press the small bell. Stay tuned. If you like my programs, subscribe to the channel immediately. Welcome to share. Thanks.